Welcome to IDLM Presents, Honest Conversations on End of Life. Here, we open the door to compassionate, open dialogue about life's final journey. Join us as we explore insights from professionals, caregivers, and doulas, and those directly touched by end of life experiences. Together, we aim to demystify, inform, and support each other through stories, knowledge, and the understanding that every conversation brings us closer to honoring life in all its stages. This November, in honor of National Hospice Month, we are thrilled to spotlight our incredible partner, Ann Quinlan Hospice, and the compassionate care that they bring to families in need. Today, we are joined by Lee Ellison, Director of Marketing and Director of Ann Quinlan Care Concepts End-of-Life Navigator program, to discuss how they incorporate end-of-life doulas into their service, ensuring that individuals and families receive compassionate support they need during life's most intimate moments. Welcome to IDLM Presents Honest Conversations on End of Life. And this month we have shared a wonderful partnership that we have here at IDLM, International Doula Life Movement, with the Quinlan Care Concepts. And I want to welcome back Lee again. Lee, welcome back. Thank you for coming to join me once again.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm enjoying our chats and I'm going to miss it when this month is over.
Me too, me too. But in a way, I'm super excited. But yet again, sad that we're not having these conversations right now, after this month for, we're sharing this, but over this month, we have shared about the Quinlan Care Concepts. We've talked about the history and how it all started. We talked about the Home for Hospice. We've talked about the Joseph T. Quinlan Bereavement Center. We've talked about your palliative care department. And today, I'm just super stoked here because we're going to actually talk about the Quinlan Care Navigators End-of-Life Doula program. And it's something that we're in partnership with. And so, Lee, could you just kind of maybe start off a little bit and tell us a little bit about how this started? What was y'all's thinking on getting this program started throughout your hospice?
Okay, well, sure. First, I want to thank the Karen and Quinlan Friends of Hospice. As everyone knows, we are a nonprofit organization, and because of their generous support of the program, we were able to partner with IDLM, who also we would like to thank, who saw the potential and value of a partnership and worked with us to develop the program. Our president, Woody Hungarter, and the governing board of Karen and Quinlan Hospice Memorial Foundation included end-of-life doulas as part of the strategic plan for Quinlan Care Concepts. You know, Woody himself is a certified end-of-life doula, and we did our research on different programs for training. And when we found IDLM, it just stood out from the rest of the programs that were out there. And when we met you and your executive director, Pam, you know, we had found the right program to partner with to bring the end-of-life doula program to our organization.
Lily, and then thank you so much because it really has been just an incredible blessing, a growth of learning and seeing how Karen, the Karen and Quinlan Hospice works in y'all's community and just getting to meet just amazing, wonderful people, a part of your team. Uh, so when you were looking through programmings, what stood out to you about IDLM?
Well, what stood out to us, number one, was the hands-on, your vision, your vision and your hands-on partnership in the program. That really stood out. Not often do you get to work with the founder of an organization or a movement. The founder had that passion to start and the vision to start something. It's very important. We feel the same way here at Karen and Quinlan Hospice, with Julia, that person who started it and had the passion and the vision. Not often you get the chance to work with that and capture that energy and that enthusiasm. So that was, a big plus. And another thing that stood out about the your program is that the teachers and the modules, that it's a real life program based on real life field work, that the modules are evolving and changing to fit the needs of the community. The continuing education was a big part of it, that you just don't, sit through, um, you know, videos and take a test and have your certificate, and then that's it, you're a doula for the rest of your life with no continuing education and no need to constantly up your game and stay relevant with what's happening in the marketplace. So that was very important. The ability that you came to us and we had in-person training, that was, amazing. It was just so many different things that made you stand out from the other offerings. Like I said, the continuing education, all the different modules, the ability for students to come back into a module, to a live class if they want to at any time
Mhm.
to get a refresher. That was, amazing. And the movement, that whole social aspect of being able to talk to doulas from around the world,
Yeah.
all at your
Yeah.
fingertips. It was awesome.
Well, and I think too, when I want to say too, we have to hit on, I think, where we talk about we did it in person. It was not just done in a few days. This was done over weeks of the class coming together for, weeks, not just a few days or 7 days or 3 days. We came together over weeks. So it was great to be able to build those bonds and get to know each other. And I think it was really important for all the doulas to have that special time as well, to because they're going to be each other's backup. They're going to be each other that they lean on. And not only that, I think just being able to absorb the information. I always say we never cut corners here. We don't skim the surface like a rock over a lake. We like to take a deep dive. So um, I think that's a really important something that we should really, really share as well, because um, they didn't just do 3 or 4 days. It was longer than that. So um, and I think that also helped with that, gaining that information, to really sit in that information and marinate in it and really think about different things with it as well too. How do you see the vision of integrating end-of-life doulas into the hospice care model?
Well, of course it's a fit. Of course, we're out there educating the community that an end-of-life doula is not just, for hospice or the end of life, but it's a perfect fit with hospice to make sure that people have a good death. And the only way to do that is to, as a doula, help normalize the conversation about death and dying, so that people feel who are in hospice feel better about expressing their end of life wishes, what they want, and kind of having a plan. And the doula can help
Mhm.
have a plan and help the staff at the hospice with an extra set of eyes and ears to help patients, who are suffering a life-limiting illness.
Yeah, and I think too, between the partnership and what y'all are doing with the navigators, um, I think it really enhances, it really helps add that extra set of eyes and ears, like you said. Um, I think it really also complements away from the traditional hospice care. You
Mhm.
know, it's something unique that can be provided to the community. So, could you walk us through what it's like? Well, let's talk about the training first, I guess. Um, so if someone comes in, now we are, y'all are opening up the classes this year to the public, um, this year. So could you walk us through what this is going to look like for somebody? And I'll kind of hit on a little bit about on IDLM side and about a little bit more on that training side. But could you walk us through that initial process of how that's going to work?
Yeah, the training process for becoming an end-of-life doula. As Anna said, we will be having opening this up to the community. We have had such a positive response from the community and people reaching out to us and saying, how can I become an end-of-life doula with your program? So we're opening it up January 25th. We'll start our next cohort, and it will be on Saturdays. every other Saturday until the last session. If it's something that you feel a calling, that you feel called to become an end-of-life doula, I suggest everyone to go to the International Doula Life Movement website, and they have a discovery class, like a video. So they take you through what you're going to be learning, and the format of the class and the different modules, so you can see what you will be learning. After you watch that, if it's something you would want to do, you can go to our website and register for the class. It's as simple as that. You can always call me at any time to, talk about your concerns. Or one of the things we want to make it, and that is great about this program, is that it's quite an investment in you. It's an investment in you, and it's at a reasonable cost, so that everyone who feels this calling can take this program.
Yeah, and one thing too, Lee, a lot of questions that I usually get is, do I have to have a medical background? No, you don't. Doulas are non-medical. We are spiritual, emotional support, and we're educators, right? And so you don't have to have a medical background. And then I have also get asked, well, I have a medical background. Can I still do this? Yes, absolutely, you can. Many of the nurses that I have worked with, and I know too that some of the feedback that I've gotten from our classes is that nurses that says, it gives me a different perspective. I was looking at things so medicalized that I wasn't seeing this other side. So it opens up your horizons, I feel, completely, to a different set of a mindset, but yeah, so you do not have to have a medical background. You do not have to have medical training. What you have to have is an open heart. You have to be able to meet people where they're at, to not pass judgment on them. I always tell my families when I walk into to explaining to what I do as a doula and how I'm going to support them, is I tell them, I'm coming in, think of this table here as a table that I'm going to lay out different cards. And on these cards are all these different options and education that we're going to talk about. But you, as the patient, as the family, have to make the best choice for you. So being non-judgmental is so important, meeting people where they're at. Um, and everybody's practice, and we talk about that too in the program. Not every doula has the same offerings. So we talk about what everybody's, it's different, and it's okay to say, hey, I'm not good at this area, but I'm really good at this area. So we all come together to support, to be able to provide support to our families that we're working with. So yeah, so
Yeah,
just
that is important, that everyone has different strengths. And I feel like there's a doula for every family. You know what I mean?
mhm.
It's just about finding that match, that click, knowing what the family's looking for. But the support of IDLM and the class that you're with, to know what your strengths are. And I gotta say, that was another thing that drew us to IDLM, is that they have, if you want to go on after you get your initial specialist certification, there's, dementia that you can focus on. There's pet loss. There's end-of-life
Great.
planning. So there's
Yeah.
different courses that, once you find what you want to specialize in, you can take a deeper dive into that. And, that's just amazing. And some of the people from our first and second cohort have taken additional courses, to more specialize in what they want to offer to their families and patients.
Yeah, and it's also too, going over a little bit about what we talk about in the program. We cover everything from Doula 101. So we talk about patient rights, we talk about hospice, we talk about palliative, we talk about the services there, we talk about getting in touch with your own mortality, we talk about contemplative practice as a doula and self-care. We also have one of our partners with the Death Deck, Lisa, who does a module in the program. We talk about common diseases, infection control, life planning. We talk about funerals and home wakes and celebrations. And we also incorporate in the classroom the skills, right? So doing that, practicing those skills, and then going into your clinical setting and practicing that as well. So they get the best of both worlds there. Um, it's just, I think it's really, really helpful. It helps boost the confidence for our doulas. And then, like you said, we still have the movement where they can still go in and they can still get that extra training, they still get that extra support, and they still get that connection with doulas across the world. So it's really, really, I think, the best of both worlds. Lee, how has the introduction of the end-of-life doulas through the Ann Quinlan Navigator program impacted your local community, and how has that process worked through the hospice and then, well, through the Navigator program?
Um, the introduction of the End-of-Life Doulas, the Navigator program, has helped by showing the community that we're there for them every step of the way. Even before serious illness, we're there to help them navigate and educate them on the options. And that's part of why, we're called the Navigators and why we have the Navigators program. We were getting a lot of questions to our hospice that didn't necessarily have to do with hospice or palliative care. It was just questions about the end of life. So that's where kind of genesis of the Navigator started, that we can be there. And since our program is staffed by end-of-life doulas, there's a depth of knowledge there to help people with questions about any of the topics that, we are in our scope of practice, helping with, different care options or learning about different funeral arrangements. So hopefully our program, by dispelling some of the myths and fears about end of life, can help people gain the knowledge to help them navigate their way through whatever end of life brings for them.
Right. Well, I think it's really important too, because I always say end-of-life doulas should be working with people now, right? Not just at a terminal illness. We definitely need to be there for that, but also now, so we can educate. And I love the fact that the doulas are able to go out and answer those questions and bring up these discussions and planning for your community. So that's amazing.
Because when you say educating the community, I mean, one of the things that our navigators are doing is setting up like an office hours at all the local libraries in the community,
Mhm.
so that on a specific day of the week, there will be a end-of-life doula there, and people can maybe feel a little bit more open and a little bit more that they can approach us and ask us any questions that they may have, and know that we're going to be there consistently to help them with any problems or questions they have.
Yeah, and Lee, I think that brings up a really good point too, because it's something I always tell doulas. Social media is great, don't get me wrong, but we need to be out in our community. We need to be showing up in our community and educating our community. So I really commend y'all on setting up those office hours at the library so that people can come in and ask questions and get to know and learn more. So hopefully we can demystify and get away from the stigma about, oh, we can't talk about death because
Mm.
and so if you're definitely opening the door, so that's amazing. What message would you like to share with our listeners about the importance of end-of-life doulas and the value that they bring to the patients and their family?
I'm passionate about the program. I'm passionate about the work and the partnership that we have with IDLM, and I'm passionate about the Navigators program staffed with our end-of-life doulas, and the impact that I think that's going to have on the community. Like I said, it's not just for those facing life-limiting illness, but the education we're sending out to the community. I'm telling everybody over the age of 18 should be in contact with the end-of-life doula. We don't have to talk every day,
Absolutely.
but you need an
Yeah,
end-of-life
no,
doula.
it does. It really
Yeah.
does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Call us, let's talk, let's normalize the conversation about death and dying. We are here to help.
uh, it's amazing. And what I think too, what will remind everybody as well, if you know sometimes doulas come in to the end of life doula program maybe not to go out and necessarily serve their community, but maybe they just want to know that information, because they're always that one person that the family all comes to when there's something going on, somebody's ill, or maybe they're that person that always seems to find themselves as that support, that caregiver for their family. And so this is also definitely a great way of learning about the end of life process, learning about important things that we should be talking about and planning about. So no matter whether if that's the course of action that you want to go to, or this is something that this is your calling and you want to do more in the community and you want to get this education to be an end of life doula and play a role in your community, I want to just encourage you. We'll put the links in the description. Go check it out. Go check out the discovery, gather that information. We will be holding some live discoveries throughout December and January. So be on the lookout on our social medias for that. And, come join us. If you have questions, you can always reach out to myself. You can always reach out to Lee. Lee, is there any other information or contact information that you would like to share with the listeners on reaching y'all, where they can find you on the website, and as well as the telephone number for the navigators or to reach you?
Sure. You can always reach us on our website, quinlancareconcepts.org. When you go down to events, there is a button you can push to learn more about the class that we have coming up in January and register for the class. I can be reached at my direct number is 973-782-1255. And you can call me and we're there for you. Like Anna always gives out her personal phone number and says, hey, I can be reached at any time. Pretty much I can be reached at any time too, so if you have questions and you just like, let me just ask her one more thing about this. Just give
Mm.
me a call or give Anna a call. We're here for you. And as she said, there's that one person that everyone always goes to. You know, 3 years ago, did I think I was going to be an end-of-life doula? No, I didn't. But you know what? It was a calling. Something called to me and said that this was a way that I could help people. And I just feel like in this process, no one should be alone. Everyone should have that doula, that advocate, that friend, that person they can talk to and depend on to help them during the difficult time. So, if you feel that little inkling of a call, like Anna said, watch the discovery video and give us a call to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely reach out, watch the discovery. I think this is the only way that we are going to. I think doulas play a vital role of getting the change of people to talk, to plan, to be educated, and to also, when that time comes, to hopefully get families and patients the support sooner rather than later, and getting an earlier hospice enrollment as well, so that they can really, really take advantage of the full hospice benefit. And so a doula can really help. That's why it's so important. All the pre-work that we're doing nowadays here, with all of our doulas and what y'all are doing out there, getting out there, educating, it's just so important. So if you want to be a part of this amazing movement, this is really a movement. This is life changing. Again, please reach out to us. And Lee, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing about your Quinlan Care Navigator End of Life Doula program. And I am so, so incredibly blessed to be working with all of you all there. And just y'all are amazing. And so thank you for all y'all's work.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. Thanks for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.